This episode of Tekzilla is brought to you by The Ben Heck Show.
This week on Tabletzilla, we look at the new VIZIO tablet, relatively new rather, the VTAB1008. VIZIO, of course, is well known for their inexpensive yet well-loved HDTVs, and now they've entered the tablet market with a similar strategy. This 8-inch tablet is Wi-Fi only, no 3G here, which I was a little bit bummed out about. And it's running on Android, but no, not Honeycomb. It's actually running Gingerbread 2.3.2. But apparently what I've read online, an upgrade is coming it's coming relatively soon.
Sweet.
So they say. As other reviewers have said, and I agree, it's really an OS meant for phones, not tablets, but since this tablet is actually relatively small, it doesn't seem to suffer for not having Honeycomb. Nothing looks stretched out, everything seems to fit really well, and since it does only have the 1 gigahertz processor.
I was going to say, how does performance feel when you're navigating through it?
Performance is a little bit on the sluggish side. I mean, it's not too much to write home about. I'm not complaining about it actively, but it is definitely slower than other tablets on the market.
Do you think the upgrade to Ice Cream Sandwich would make that any better or worse?
I would say probably worse, considering the amount of processing power it has, but I can't speak to that just yet. But so here are the details. It's 6.6 by 8.1 by 0.48 inches.
Ooh.
It's got a micro USB and a micro HDMI port and a covered slot for micro SD cards. Now the thing that I found really interesting, it's 1.29 pounds. It's not heavy. It's not really what you would consider like a heavy tablet, but compared to something like the iPad 2, which is 1.66 pounds, comparative to their size of each other, I mean, this is a 10-inch tablet versus an 8-inch tablet, you would think it would be significantly lighter for what you're getting in terms of screen size. It's actually, it's pretty thick too. The power button is up here on the top, and to actually turn it on or get it back into the screen mode, you can push that, and then when it goes to sleep, you just swipe with your fingers as normal as you would expect. What I do like is that it has 3 speakers, so no matter which way you're holding the tablet, you get that stereo sound. It doesn't matter what your orientation is.
Is the case all plastic, or is that metal on the back?
It's plastic. Okay. Yeah, it's got a plastic back.
So that's one of the ways they probably saved a little weight.
It's nice looking. Like, I think it's a pretty tablet. It has a forward-facing VGA camera though too, so you're not going to be taking a lot of pictures with it. It's fine for video calls or for Skype or whatever you're using, but it's not going to be a replacement for any kind of phone even or camera that you're toting around with you. Another minor complaint, it only has 4 gigabytes of onboard storage and only 2 of that is usable. So you're definitely going to be making good use of that micro SD card slot for sure. I think it can expand up to 32 gigabytes, I believe, is the max.
Right.
I wish I could remember. It's either 32 or 64. I think it's 32.
32 cards out now for micro SD.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, VIZIO is known for being a TV manufacturer, so they've given a lot of thought into making this work well with that kind of thing. It's got a IR transmitter and an app that will actually let you make this tablet a universal IR remote for your TV. So any TV that's IR controllable, you can use this with, not just VIZIO TV. So does that sound like something that you would be interested in?
It's nice. It's a nice feature also just to have that IR port. That seems to be a pretty rare thing to find on, I wish more cell phones honestly had an infrared port, even though the usage model really is just for home theater. At least what I'm thinking of, but yeah. Awesome.
I might not give up my Harmony 1 in order to replace this as a universal remote, but I think it's a nice feature. I think it's something that sets it apart from other tablets out there on the market. I don't think there's any other ones that have that work that way, although I could be vastly wrong.
It's good because the other way of controlling all of your home theater devices is over IP connections. If everything's on the same subnet, then you can just use your own Wi-Fi and connect that way. But for the devices that don't connect to the internet and have just infrared control, it's nice. It's nice they thought of that. I would expect that from a TV manufacturer like VIZIO to make sure that feature.
Let's see if I can pull up the remote control app. I don't have a TV that's actually connected to it right now, but we can.
We previewed this 10 months ago back at CES, and it's finally. I'm glad to see it's finally here, and I have to say it looks better than it did the day we first saw it.
So you can see all the different manufacturers. You can select to set up. So it's got a lot actually that works with it. So that's pretty cool.
Is that a custom app that VIZIO included on that?
Yes, this
tablet?
is a custom VIZIO app. This is something they made specifically for this tablet in order to work with the other TVs.
The super remote.
Yeah, I definitely think that that's kind of the killer feature of this device, in my opinion anyway. Mauricio over at App Judgment isn't a huge fan of this tablet, but I think the price is actually pretty right. You can get this right now on the VIZIO site for $267. $400, down from $330. It's definitely a pared down tablet, but it might be a good entry device or something if you want a smaller size tablet. Though frankly, my final word would probably be just wait for a Kindle Fire. If you're looking for something of this device and you want to spend under $200, in that case for $199, you can get a similar Android tablet that also has all that access to Amazon and all those features. I'd like to compare them head on once I get my hands on a Fire too.
It's nice to see more devices like that appearing like that. The prices are going to come down, we have more selection, and hopefully it'll get them in competition to make the products better.
It's definitely a much different tablet than the ThinkPad that we were looking at last time.
Cool.
So many different iterations of Android tablets out there.
It's nice though, but they're getting more affordable. If you're interested in this kind of technology now, they're not $1,000 options. Now they're getting down to the $200 price point. And I think that's where people will finally start to perk up and go, yes,
which is great.
Now is the time.
All right, well, it's time to thank one of our sponsors, The Ben Heck Show. Join modding wizard Ben Heck and friends as they build and modify a host of amazing community-inspired creations. Be sure to watch new episodes of The Ben Heck Show every 2 weeks right here at revision3.com/TBHS. In the latest episode of The Ben Heck Show, Ben assembles his crack squad of paranormal investigators for a very special Halloween episode. Stay tuned at element14.com/TBHS to find out how you can enter to win the Ghost Squad hats that Ben and team are wearing in this episode and other builds from the show.